Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today we're really digging into something fascinating that's completely reshaped how we learn: online education. We're going to explore its incredible journey, from its quiet beginnings to its supercharged present, unpacking its huge advantages, and taking a really honest look at the big challenges it's still navigating.
That's right. Online education, sometimes called e-learning or distance learning, virtual education, it's so much more than just a passing fad. It's truly a global game changer. It's thrown open the doors to knowledge for millions of people who, for so many different reasons, maybe they live far away from schools or can't afford traditional tuition, or maybe have personal circumstances that make physical attendance impossible. They simply couldn't get an education before. Our goal today is to really zoom in on the most important parts of this transformation, giving you, our listener, a clear, balanced picture of its immense impact.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. When we talk about online education, we're not just talking about one single thing, are we? It's this massive, evolving landscape. It includes everything from those incredibly popular, massive open online courses, or MOOCs, all the way to full accredited online degrees from top universities. And it serves everyone, right? From kids in kindergarten to professionals looking to pick up new skills or even completely change careers. It's pretty all-encompassing, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely is. And what's particularly striking is just how fast this whole model has grown. Think about platforms like Coursera, EDX, Udemy, Khan Academy. They really started gaining traction in the early 2000s. They were already significant, but then, 2020 happened. The pandemic essentially forced a global, almost overnight shift to virtual classrooms. It pushed institutions everywhere to adapt at a speed we've frankly never seen. It was an unprecedented test of online education's capabilities, and it dramatically expanded its reach into, pretty much every corner of the world.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because that blistery pace, it hasn't slowed down. Not really. Here we are in June 2025, and online education is still just exploding with new possibilities. It's not just digital textbooks and pre-recorded videos anymore. We're seeing powerful integrations of artificial intelligence, truly immersive virtual reality, and sophisticated adaptive learning systems. These cutting-edge technologies are being woven right into the fabric of learning, making it incredibly personalized, much more interactive, and ultimately far more engaging for each individual learner. It feels like we're just scratching the surface, doesn't it?
We definitely are. But, it's also important to acknowledge that this transformative model has its share of hurdles. It's not all smooth sailing. We're still grappling with challenges like ensuring consistent quality across all the different offerings. That's a big one. Addressing issues of digital equity so everyone truly has a fair chance. And tackling that persistent problem of social isolation that some learners experience. That's very real. So for you, our listener, truly understanding online education means looking at both its incredible benefits and its very real drawbacks. That's exactly what we aim to give you in this deep dive.
Okay, so let's kick off with the pros. What many would argue is its biggest strength: its remarkable ability to break down both physical and socioeconomic barriers. It truly makes learning accessible to an astonishingly diverse range of people across the globe. How significant is that in the grand scheme of things?
It's absolutely revolutionary. Think about geographical reach, for example. We're talking about students in remote villages or maybe underserved regions who, for generations, simply couldn't access quality education. It wasn't an option. Now, they can enroll in courses from prestigious institutions anywhere in the world. Imagine a dedicated learner in, say, a rural part of sub-Saharan Africa. They can access MIT's OpenCourseWare, getting world-class content without ever needing to physically move, without those massive relocation costs. This isn't just a small change. It's a fundamental reimagining of who gets to learn and where. It's huge.
Yeah, huge. And it's not just about overcoming distance, is it? It's also deeply about supporting diverse learners with a whole range of needs. Think about features like closed captions on videos, sophisticated screen readers for text, or interfaces that you can adjust to fit your specific preferences. Platforms like Blackboard, they're really pushing to incorporate rigorous accessibility standards, making sure students with visual or hearing impairments are fully included. It feels like it's genuinely opening educational doors for everyone, making the environment much more equitable.
Without a doubt. And it excels at catering to what we often call non-traditional learners. These are people whose lives don't really fit the mold of a full-time on-campus student. We're talking about working professionals balancing demanding careers, parents managing significant family responsibilities, or older adults looking to upskill or even pivot their careers later in life. They can now pursue studies without completely disrupting their established lives. Online programs have specifically empowered groups like, say, single mothers or mid-career individuals to finally get degrees or certifications they thought were out of reach. We've even seen how this can impact gender equity. Some reports suggest online education has increased female enrollment in higher education in places like India and Pakistan. It offers a more discreet, culturally sensitive path to empowerment, where traditional norms might otherwise restrict access. It's a quiet revolution happening in many homes.
That naturally brings us to flexibility and convenience, which is truly a defining feature of online education's widespread appeal, isn't it? It really can accommodate such a diverse range of schedules and individual learning styles, making it incredibly adaptable to almost anyone's life.
It's a huge selling point. Self-paced learning, for instance, is a massive advantage. Asynchronous courses allow learners to move through the material at their own speed. This is ideal for someone who might need a bit more time to really dig deep into a complex concept, or, conversely, for someone who can fly through material they already grasp. Platforms like Khan Academy are perfect examples of this, offering modular lessons tailored to individual pacing. You, the learner, are essentially the captain of your own educational ship. You're in control.
Right? In control. And that level of control really translates into incredibly customizable schedules. Students can literally study at any time that suits them, fitting education around work, family, or other personal commitments. It's not a rigid 9-to-5 setup at all. The U.S. Department of Education actually points out that adult learners, who often juggle very complex lives, now make up over 40% of all online enrollment. That's a powerful testament to how much people value this flexibility.
And let's not overlook a very practical, sometimes underestimated perk: no commute. Removing the need for daily physical travel to a campus saves a massive amount of time and cuts down on transportation costs, things like gas or bus fare. It allows learners to redirect that energy and those resources directly into their studies. This inherent flexibility also empowers learners to truly curate their own education, choosing specific courses, whether it's a coding boot camp or a philosophy lecture, to align precisely with their personal interests or career goals. It's like having a personalized academic concierge almost.
Beyond just convenience, online education often proves to be significantly more affordable than traditional routes. And that further broadens access to learning opportunities for a much wider demographic.
Undeniably. Those massive open online courses, the MOOCs, they're frequently free or offered at a very low cost, making high-quality content broadly accessible. Even fully accredited online degrees typically have substantially lower tuition fees compared to their on-campus counterparts. This is largely because institutions have reduced overheads. Maintaining massive physical buildings costs a lot. Take Georgia Tech's online Master of Science in Computer Science, for instance. It costs around $10,000. That's a dramatic difference from the $50,000 plus for its on-campus version. This cost difference alone makes elite education attainable for many more people.
And it's not just the tuition fees, is it? Learners save on so many other ancillary costs that really add up in traditional education. Things like housing, daily transportation, and, let's be honest, the often exorbitant price of physical textbooks. Many online courses conveniently provide digital materials, cutting down on printing and shipping. It's a much more streamlined and financially efficient educational model overall.
Absolutely. What's more, from the institution's side, there's immense scalability. They can effectively serve thousands, maybe tens of thousands of students with minimal additional physical resources, which naturally and directly lowers the per-student cost. It's a very efficient use of resources. We've seen data highlighting that online education can significantly reduce overall educational costs, sometimes by up to 60% for learners in developing countries. It genuinely makes higher education a reality for people who simply couldn't afford it before. It democratizes access in a powerful way.
Another incredible advantage is how online platforms brilliantly leverage multimedia and global expertise to truly enrich the learning experience. It makes it far more dynamic and engaging than, say, just reading a textbook.
Oh, this is a huge selling point for online learning, definitely. Courses frequently weave in a wealth of diverse multimedia. High-quality videos, interactive simulations that let you explore concepts hands-on, quick self-assessment quizzes, vibrant discussion forums. This rich array caters effectively to visual, auditory, and even kinesthetic learners, providing multiple pathways to understanding. For example, some science courses on platforms like Coursera include sophisticated virtual labs. They give students a hands-on feel for experiments, even when they're learning remotely. It brings the lab to you, essentially.
And then there's the unparalleled access to global expertise. I mean, imagine you can literally hear lectures from leading academics and top industry experts, regardless of where you are in the world. Think of platforms like Masterclass, where your instructors can be Nobel laureates or titans of industry, sharing their profound insights directly. It's a level of access that traditional universities, just by their nature, really struggle to match because they're geographically bound.
And crucially, the content offered online stays remarkably dynamic. Digital platforms allow for rapid and seamless updates. This is absolutely vital in fast-evolving fields like artificial intelligence or cybersecurity, where knowledge and best practices change almost daily. This agility stands in sharp contrast to traditional education's reliance on static textbooks that can quickly become outdated. It means you're always getting the most current, relevant information.
This leads us neatly to a really cutting-edge benefit: how AI and data analytics are enabling truly tailored learning experiences, ones that significantly enhance educational outcomes for individual students. This feels like where the future of education is really starting to unfold.
It absolutely is. This is genuinely where technology shines brightest in education right now. Adaptive technologies, like those you find in platforms such as Dreambox, can dynamically adjust the content's difficulty based on a student's real-time performance and understanding. So if you're struggling with a concept, the system might offer more practice or different explanations. If you're excelling, it could introduce more advanced material. It's truly tailored instruction that meets each student precisely where they are, demonstrably improving learning outcomes. It's like having a dedicated tutor just for you, constantly adjusting.
Yeah, like a personal coach. And then there are AI tutors. Platforms like Duolingo are already using AI to provide real-time, instantaneous feedback to learners, simulating one-on-one tutoring experiences at scale. This makes personalized guidance accessible to a vast audience without the prohibitive cost of human tutors for every single interaction. It's really democratizing personalized learning.
And AI also excels in the realm of analytics, providing powerful insights for educators. It can rapidly process vast amounts of student data to identify at-risk students who might be struggling, sometimes even before the students themselves realize it. This allows instructors to intervene with timely and highly targeted support. This proactive approach has been shown to significantly improve retention and overall success rates. It's about leveraging data for what we might call data-driven empathy in education, making sure no one gets left behind.
Moving beyond formal degrees, online education has truly transformed professional upskilling. It offers flexible, highly industry-relevant training that keeps pace with the relentless demands of the modern workforce.
It certainly has. Micro-credentials from platforms like LinkedIn Learning or Google Career Certificates, they've become incredibly valuable in the professional world. They validate specific, in-demand skills in high-growth fields like data analysis or user experience UX design. They allow professionals to quickly and demonstrably prove their competence to potential employers without committing to a full, lengthy degree.
Which also enables remarkably seamless career transitions, doesn't it? Professionals can acquire entirely new skill sets and competencies without having to leave their current jobs. That's a huge advantage for financial stability and work-life balance. We saw this trend accelerate dramatically. I think there was something like a 50% increase in tech certifications during the 2023 period alone. It showcases how many people used online learning to pivot their careers.
Exactly. And there's the added benefit of global networking. Virtual forums and online group projects connect learners with peers and professionals worldwide. This fosters truly global collaboration and expands their professional horizons in ways that wouldn't be possible in just a local classroom. The concept of stackable credentials, where shorter, focused courses cumulatively build toward more comprehensive degrees or certifications, perfectly aligns education with immediate workforce needs. It benefits both individual learners seeking new opportunities and employers seeking highly skilled talent. It really is a win-win scenario.
Finally, on the pros side, it's worth highlighting how online education also aligns with broader global goals, specifically by supporting sustainability through reduced resource consumption and a smaller environmental footprint. This isn't just about, saving a few trees. It's about fundamentally rethinking the carbon footprint of an entire global industry.
That's a truly tangible and significant benefit. Virtual learning effectively eliminates the need for daily commuting, drastically cutting the carbon emissions associated with transportation. Moreover, it substantially reduces the operational footprint of large physical campuses, which are typically very energy-intensive heating, cooling, lighting huge buildings. Estimates suggest that online education can produce a remarkable 80–90% fewer emissions per student compared to traditional in-person education. That's a seismic shift, challenging the very notion of what a green industry looks like.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not just about emissions, right? The heavy reliance on digital resources, things like e-textbooks, online articles, multimedia materials, drastically reduces paper use and the associated environmental impact of printing and distributing physical materials. It's a clear and intentional move away from traditional physical waste, aligning with eco-conscious practices.
Absolutely. Online programs inherently require less physical infrastructure development, fewer new buildings needed, less land use. This minimizes the energy consumption for heating, cooling, and lighting massive campus buildings and facilities. These important environmental benefits align directly with global sustainability goals, truly positioning online education as a genuinely eco-friendly alternative in many respects. It offers a greener path to knowledge for millions.
All right, so we've explored many of the incredible upsides and transformative aspects of online education. But as with any major societal shift, there are definite downsides and challenges we have to consider. It's not a perfect system. One of those frequently cited is the limited social interaction, which can really hinder a student's social and emotional development, especially for younger learners.
This is a critical point that can't be overstated. Students, especially younger ones who are still developing crucial social skills, may experience profound feelings of isolation or a sense of disconnectedness. This can unfortunately lead to reduced motivation and even disengagement from their studies. Some research, like surveys from EdWeek, found that a significant percentage of online K-12 students reported experiencing feelings of loneliness. It's a real human cost to consider.
And it undeniably impacts networking opportunities. Traditional physical campuses naturally foster organic connections through clubs, diverse events, and those everyday unplanned encounters. The water cooler moments. Online programs, despite their best efforts with virtual spaces, genuinely struggle to replicate that depth and spontaneity of in-person interaction. It's vital for building lasting personal and professional relationships.
It is.
It's hard to serendipitously meet your future business partner on a Zoom call, for instance.
That's a great way to put it. Furthermore, virtual group projects can unfortunately face significant collaboration challenges. These can range from the practicalities of navigating different time zones among team members to ensuring truly equitable participation from everyone involved. It's easy for some to hide. While digital tools like Zoom or Discord certainly facilitate interaction, they often lack the spontaneity, the nonverbal cues, and the depth of in-person engagement, particularly when it comes to building those truly lasting personal and professional relationships that are so beneficial. You just don't pick up on those subtle social signals as easily online.
Okay, then there's the heavy reliance on technology. While it enables incredible advancements, it also creates significant access and usability challenges for many learners around the world. It essentially creates a barrier for some.
It's a stark and persistent reality. The digital divide. Reports, like from UNESCO, highlight that a staggering percentage of the global population still lacks reliable broadband internet access, maybe 20%. This disproportionately impacts low-income and rural learners who are often already at a disadvantage. It immediately creates an inequitable playing field where some students simply cannot participate effectively, regardless of their desire to learn.
And even for those with access, technical issues are a constant headache, aren't they? Internet outages, unexpected software glitches, or critical device failures can disrupt learning at the most crucial moments, causing significant setbacks. During the 2020 pandemic, for example, the National Center for Education Statistics reported that something like 30% of U.S. students experienced connectivity issues. That severely impacted their ability to learn. Imagine trying to take an exam when your Wi-Fi keeps cutting out.
Exactly. And on top of that, there's the often overlooked challenge of tech literacy. Older learners, or those who are new to digital tools, may genuinely struggle with navigating complex online platforms and learning management systems. They might need significant additional training and dedicated support just to get started, which isn't always available. These pervasive technological barriers, unfortunately, exacerbate existing educational inequities, leading to a situation where some students are left even further behind.
Right. The quality of online education can also vary quite widely, naturally raising valid questions about its overall effectiveness and true value compared to traditional schooling. It's not a uniform landscape, is it?
No, it really isn't. This is a very significant concern. The unfortunate existence of inconsistent standards, maybe unaccredited courses, or even outright diploma mills. It can, regrettably, undermine the credibility of the entire online education sector. The U.S. Department of Education, for example, has issued warnings about predatory online institutions offering low-value credentials. These can mislead students and devalue legitimate online degrees. It's a bit of a buyer beware market in some corners.
And for certain fields, there's a distinct issue of limited hands-on learning. Disciplines like medicine or engineering, even trades, they inherently require extensive practical training and direct experience. Online platforms struggle to provide this effectively without access to specialized physical labs, simulation environments, or real-world practical experience that just cannot be fully replicated virtually. You can't learn to perform surgery just from a video, right?
Right. And while acceptance of online degrees is undoubtedly growing, employer perceptions remain a factor that cannot be ignored. Some employers, particularly in more traditional sectors like finance or law, may still view online degrees as less rigorous or comprehensive than their on-campus equivalents. While accredited programs from reputable institutions like the University of Phoenix or others are certainly gaining traction and respect, robust quality assurance and consistent standards across the board remain absolutely critical for achieving widespread acceptance and enduring trust in online credentials. It's about perception as much as reality sometimes.
Okay, and a huge part of success in online learning falls squarely on the student. It demands significant self-discipline and intrinsic motivation, qualities that, let's face it, not all students possess in equal measure. It's a big burden to put on a learner.
It truly is a major hurdle for many learners. Without fixed schedules, the immediate presence of peers, and those external accountability mechanisms you get in a classroom, well, procrastination can easily take root and flourish. Studies on massive open online courses, for instance, have reported completion rates that can be surprisingly low, sometimes as low as 10–15%. That indicates a significant drop-off for a large number of learners who initially enroll. It's easy to sign up, much harder to finish.
Yeah, that very flexibility, which we praised earlier as a pro, can also paradoxically be a major con for some learners. It creates a distinct lack of structure that can genuinely overwhelm learners who truly need that external accountability and clear non-negotiable deadlines to stay on track. If you're not naturally self-disciplined, it's easy to fall behind quickly.
Absolutely. Moreover, home environments, while convenient in theory, are often rife with numerous distractions, ranging from unexpected family interruptions to the ever-present siren call of social media, video games, you name it. Younger students, or those with weaker time management skills, are particularly vulnerable to these challenges. This highlights the profound need for truly robust support systems and explicit guidance on developing effective self-regulation strategies in an online setting. It's like asking someone to work productively in a busy coffee shop full of their friends.
A particularly thorny issue in online settings is ensuring academic integrity, especially during assessments where traditional monitoring is absent. How do you know it's really the student doing the work and doing it honestly?
It's a genuine and complex challenge. Remote assessments, just by their nature, can unfortunately enable the misuse of resources. It makes activities like cheating and plagiarism potentially easier to attempt and certainly harder to detect. A survey from Inside Higher Ed found that a significant majority, maybe 70%, of educators believe cheating is indeed easier to accomplish in an online environment compared to a traditional classroom setting. It's a constant battle for institutions.
And it consequently raises significant questions about fair evaluation, doesn't it? Online exams may not always fully assess a student's true skills or depth of understanding, especially in those practical disciplines where hands-on application and nuanced problem-solving are absolutely key. How do you assess a student's ability to, say, fix an engine or perform a medical diagnosis purely online?
Exactly. Then there are the privacy concerns associated with some proctoring tools, like Proctorio, which monitor students via webcams and screen recording during exams. While these tools are certainly designed to curb cheating, they undeniably raise valid ethical questions about surveillance and data privacy. How much monitoring is too much? These issues can unfortunately erode trust in online credentials, necessitating the development and rapid adoption of more advanced and ethically sound monitoring solutions that respect student privacy. It's a tough balance to strike between security and individual rights.
Moving beyond the academics, online education often falls short in providing the holistic experiences that traditional campuses are so well known for. This impacts the student's overall development. It's more than just the classes, isn't it?
It truly is. There's simply no campus life in the conventional sense. Students miss out on that rich tapestry of sports, clubs, student organizations, and a multitude of social events. Experiences that are so crucial for organically building soft skills like leadership, teamwork, and critical networking in an informal, real-world setting. These experiences are a vital part of a complete education, shaping well-rounded individuals.
And access to support services can be noticeably reduced as well. Online learners may have more limited, or maybe just less convenient, access to vital campus resources that traditional students often take for granted. Things like dedicated career services, accessible mental health counseling, or personalized academic advising, all of which are critical for overall student success and well-being. It's easy to feel a bit adrift without that direct, easy-to-access support system.
Exactly. Without that physical community, there's also the potential for a diminished sense of belonging to an institution, that feeling of school spirit, of being part of something larger. While virtual clubs and online social activities certainly exist and are evolving, they often struggle to truly replicate the depth, spontaneity, and strong sense of engagement that comes from in-person communal experiences and just those daily interactions. It's hard to replicate a dorm common room or a campus quad online.
Finally, on the con side, it's crucial to consider the potential negative impacts of extended online learning on both physical and mental health. These can be quite significant for some individuals, especially over long periods.
I see as a growing and serious concern, yes. Prolonged screen time is a major contributor to what's commonly known as screen fatigue. This can lead to symptoms like persistent eye strain, debilitating headaches, and even disrupted sleep patterns. Research, like studies in the Journal of Digital Learning, has explicitly linked online learning to a noticeable increase, maybe 25%, in reported eye strain among students. Imagine staring at a screen for 8-10 hours a day, every day.
Yeah, takes a toll. And the inherently sedentary behavior that comes with studying extensively at home often significantly reduces physical activity. This, over time, can contribute to a variety of adverse health risks and conditions, especially if there isn't a conscious effort to get up, move around, and stay active.
Perhaps most significantly, the isolation and profound lack of regular in-person interaction can unfortunately exacerbate existing mental health issues like anxiety or depression. This is particularly true for younger learners who really thrive on social connection and peer interaction as part of their development. These cumulative effects clearly highlight an urgent need for intentional strategies specifically designed to support the overall well-being and mental health of online students. It's not just about academics, it's about their whole person.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and look back. It's truly fascinating to trace the roots of online education back much further than most people realize. Its origins actually lie in 19th century correspondence courses, where educational materials were literally mailed to students. What can we learn from those early days?
What's remarkable is just how early this fundamental concept of distance learning emerged. Back in 1840, a pioneer named Isaac Pitman introduced shorthand courses via mail in the UK. This was a truly pioneering form of distance learning, sending lessons through the postal service. By the early 20th century, even established universities, like the University of Chicago, were offering comprehensive correspondence programs. They managed to reach thousands of remote learners across vast distances in the country. It was slow, very slow by today's standards, but it worked.
The key features of this model were pretty straightforward. Lessons were primarily text-based. Assignments were physically sent back through the postal service for grading. It was groundbreaking for its innovative approach to prioritizing accessibility, bringing education to people who couldn't attend in person. But it certainly lacked interactivity and immediate feedback, right? That must have been a drawback.
Absolutely. Its inherent limitations were quite clear. Slow communication turnaround times weeks, maybe longer, and notably limited feedback significantly hindered student engagement, which inherently restricted its overall scalability. Yet, despite these challenges, it undeniably set the crucial precedent for learning that extended far beyond the confines of traditional physical classrooms. It planted the seed for remote learning. It showed it was possible.
Right. The 20th century then saw the rise of media-based education, leveraging the new communication technologies of the time, radio and television, to expand, reach even further. This feels like the first real leap in scale, doesn't it?
It definitely was. In the 1930s, for example, radio broadcasts began delivering lectures directly into homes. This was a particularly vital service for learners in rural areas where access to formal schooling might have been limited. By the 1960s, television programs, such as the well-known Sunrise Semester in the U.S., started offering college-level courses. They reached even broader audiences directly in their living rooms, showcasing the powerful potential of broadcasting for mass education.
These were significant advancements, no doubt. Multimedia, even just audio or video, enriched the content delivery, making lessons more engaging than just text. And crucially, recorded lectures allowed for asynchronous access. Students could tune in and learn at their convenience whenever their schedules permitted. This was a direct precursor to today's on-demand digital content, setting the stage for flexible learning.
Indeed. However, significant challenges persisted with this model. Communication remained largely one way. There was very little opportunity for interactive learning or student-teacher dialogue. Furthermore, access was still heavily dependent on specific broadcast schedules, which, while more flexible than in-person classes, still posed limitations. You had to be there at the right time. But it undeniably showcased the powerful potential of mass media for widespread education. It proved you could teach effectively beyond the classroom walls using technology.
Then came the undeniable game changer, the advent of the internet in the 1990s. This fundamentally and irrevocably transformed distance education as we knew it. This is where the term online education truly begins, right?
This is absolutely where modern online learning truly began to take shape. Early platforms like Blackboard launched in 1997, and Moodle, which followed in 2002, introduced comprehensive learning management systems, or LMS. These systems enabled digital course delivery on an unprecedented and truly scalable level. They laid the foundation for everything that came next. Suddenly, you had a functional virtual classroom environment.
Key milestones followed quickly, signaling this revolution. MIT's OpenCourseWare, launched back in 2001, made an extraordinary impact by making university-level course content freely available to anyone with internet access. That truly inspired the entire open education movement. Then, in 2012, Coursera, ADX, and Udacity popularized MOOCs, offering massively scalable and incredibly accessible courses to millions more. It felt like democratizing elite education overnight.
The impact was undeniable and transformative. By 2015, reports showed over 35 million learners had enrolled in MOOCs. This effectively democratized access to elite education for millions around the globe who might never have had such an opportunity before. This period truly marked a shift from niche, specialized distance learning to something much more mainstream and widely accessible.
Of course, nothing accelerated the adoption and evolution of online learning quite like the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. It forced an unprecedented global shift. UNESCO estimated it affected an astonishing 1.6 billion students worldwide due to widespread school closures. It was a rapid involuntary experiment on a global scale.
That rapid and compulsory transition sparked immediate and widespread innovations, almost out of necessity. We witnessed the rapid emergence of sophisticated hybrid models, the initial development of AI-driven personalization tools, and even rudimentary VR labs, all aiming to enhance engagement and effectiveness in a fully remote learning environment. Institutions worldwide rapidly adopted collaborative platforms like Zoom and Google Classroom, showcasing remarkable adaptability under immense pressure. It was really a crash course in digital pedagogy for everyone involved: students, teachers, parents, administrators.
But this speed and scale of adoption certainly came with its own set of significant challenges, as we touched on earlier. The rapid shift starkly exposed pre-existing gaps in digital infrastructure, critical shortcomings in teacher training for online pedagogy, and persistent issues of equity. It highlighted stark disparities in access to necessary technology and support. These challenges, in turn, have profoundly shaped the ongoing reforms and substantial investments we are seeing in online education today. It really forced us to confront those underlying issues head-on.
Right. So what does online education look like today, in 2025, after all this incredible, sometimes turbulent evolution? What's the current state of play?
As of this year, online education isn't just prevalent. It's integrating even more advanced technologies at a rapid pace. It feels like it's constantly evolving. We're seeing sophisticated AI tutors capable of personalized instruction, secure blockchain credentials that promise verifiable academic records, and increasingly immersive VR experiences that redefine engagement, especially in certain fields. The focus is also heavily shifting towards micro-credentials and comprehensive lifelong learning programs driven directly by the ever-evolving demands of the global workforce. People need to keep learning throughout their careers. Governments, too, are making significant strategic investments. For example, India, with its expansive Swayam platform, is actively developing national e-learning ecosystems, placing strong emphasis on broad accessibility and massive scale, a truly dynamic space.
Okay, let's dive into the technological underpinnings that make all of this possible. At the core of the online learning ecosystem are learning management systems, or LMS platforms. What exactly are these, and why are they so foundational?
Well, think of platforms like Canvas, Moodle, Blackboard, maybe Google Classroom in the K-12 space as the absolute central nervous system of virtually all organized online education today. They meticulously manage everything from delivering course content and handling student assignment submissions to tracking grades and administering assessments. They really provide a centralized, streamlined hub for all learning activities and interactions within a digital environment. Without them, it would likely be pure chaos trying to manage thousands of students online.
And their features are absolutely crucial for the seamless functioning of online education, aren't they? User-friendly interfaces that simplify navigation, integrated gradebooks that keep track of student progress, dynamic discussion forums that streamline communication between students and instructors. They've genuinely made online education manageable and scalable, allowing institutions to serve thousands, even millions, of learners effectively. It's like the operating system for an online school.
That's a great analogy. The impact of LMS is undeniable. Their adoption has grown remarkably over the last decade, consistently supporting millions of learners worldwide. They are, without question, the foundational infrastructure upon which nearly every modern online course is built and delivered. They allow for consistency and organization at a massive scale.
Now, artificial intelligence, it's a hot topic across many industries, and it's certainly revolutionizing online education, enhancing personalization and efficiency in ways we could only really dream of just a few years ago. How is AI truly transforming the student experience?
It truly is making a big difference. Adaptive learning tools, for instance, are at the forefront of this revolution. They can dynamically adjust content and learning paths based on a student's real-time performance and understanding. This means if you're struggling with a concept, the system might offer more practice or different explanations. If you're excelling, it might introduce more advanced material. It's truly tailored instruction that meets each student precisely where they are, demonstrably improving learning outcomes. It's like having a dedicated, infinitely patient tutor just for you, constantly adjusting.
Yeah, that personalized aspect is key. And then there are AI tutors. Platforms like Duolingo for language learning are already using AI to provide real-time, instantaneous feedback to learners. They simulate one-on-one tutoring experiences at scale. This makes personalized guidance accessible to a vast audience without the prohibitive cost of human tutors for every single interaction. It's really democratizing that kind of personalized learning support.
And AI also excels in the realm of analytics, providing powerful insights for educators that they couldn't easily get before. It can rapidly process vast amounts of student data, quiz scores, time spent on tasks, forum participation to identify at-risk students who might be struggling, sometimes even before the students themselves realize it. This allows instructors to intervene proactively with timely and highly targeted support. This approach has been shown to significantly improve retention and overall success rates. It's about leveraging data for, let's call it data-driven empathy in education, making sure no one falls through the cracks.
Looking ahead, virtual and augmented reality, VR and AR, they're poised to create truly immersive and transformative learning environments, particularly beneficial for disciplines that traditionally require a strong practical or hands-on component. What kind of experiences can these technologies deliver?
The applications for VR and AR in education are indeed compelling and potentially revolutionary. Imagine medical students using advanced VR platforms like OSSO VR to practice complex surgeries in a completely safe virtual environment. They gain critical, high-fidelity experience without any real-world risk to patients. Or consider history courses that might use AR to let you explore virtual artifacts, bringing ancient worlds and historical objects to life right there in your room. It's like stepping into a museum exhibit, but interactive.
That sounds incredible, but these technologies, they do face significant challenges that limit their immediate widespread adoption, right? I mean, it must be expensive and technically complicated.
That's absolutely right. The high costs for the hardware, like good VR headsets, and also for developing the complex, high-quality content, well, it's a major barrier. Plus, the substantial technical requirements currently make them less accessible for all educational institutions and students, especially those with fewer resources. While the potential is huge, the barrier to entry for widespread use is still quite high today.
Okay. And for ensuring trust and legitimacy in online qualifications, blockchain technology is emerging as a powerful and transparent tool. It offers secure, verifiable credentials that cannot be easily altered or faked. How does that actually work in practice?
This is a fascinating use case, particularly for the future of academic records. Think of it like a secure, distributed, unchangeable digital ledger. Institutions, including some pioneering universities like MIT, are already experimenting with issuing digital diplomas via blockchain. Once your diploma is recorded on the blockchain, it's virtually impossible to forge or alter. This gives employers instant, undeniable proof of your qualifications, far more secure than a paper certificate that could theoretically be faked, lost, or damaged. It's about building unbreakable trust in the credential itself.
So the benefits for the broader ecosystem are pretty clear. Employers can instantly and reliably verify a candidate's qualifications with just a few clicks. This significantly enhances trust in online degrees and certifications. It directly helps to bridge any lingering perception gaps about their legitimacy compared to traditional credential, making online qualifications truly stand on their own merit.
Right, but despite all these incredible advancements and the rapid evolution of online education, technological progress in this field still faces inherent hurdles, doesn't it? These include the ongoing costs of developing and maintaining cutting-edge systems, significant issues of scalability for truly global deployment, and of course the persistent digital divide we've discussed. Not everyone has access to the latest tech or even reliable basic internet.
But innovation continues unabated, constantly pushing the boundaries, right? What's potentially on the horizon for online education tech? What are we looking at next?
Oh, absolutely. Future developments like, say, 5G-enabled mobile learning promise even more seamless and rapid access to educational content from anywhere, making learning truly ubiquitous and on the go. And AI-driven content creation could potentially revolutionize how educational materials are developed and delivered, maybe even customizing content dynamically for every single learner on the fly based on their needs. These continuous advancements will undoubtedly continue to transform the online learning landscape in profound ways, making today's innovations probably seem quite quaint in just a few years.
Okay, let's pivot to some global case studies. It's truly inspiring to see how online education is directly addressing critical educational gaps on a global scale, making a tangible difference in people's lives. Let's start with Africa, where access to education can be particularly challenging in many regions.
Yes, in Africa, where UNESCO reports indicate a significant percentage of children still lack access to basic schooling, online education is proving to be a powerful equalizer. The African Virtual University, or AVU, is a prime example of this impact. It has successfully offered online degrees to students in numerous countries, serving hundreds of thousands of students since its inception back in 1997. It's really a beacon of hope for many seeking higher education.
And its advantages are clear and impactful. Typically lower-cost programs and mobile-friendly platforms that are specifically designed to reach learners in even the most rural and remote areas. This ensures education isn't limited by physical location, so it's not just about what's taught, but crucially how it reaches people.
That's spot on. However, significant challenges persist, such as limited internet access across large areas and, sometimes, frequent power outages. These continue to hinder progress and reliable participation for many potential learners. But promising solutions are emerging, including partnerships with major telecom companies to expand connectivity and the development of offline content downloads to address connectivity issues directly. This allows learning to happen even without a constant, stable internet connection. It's about finding ingenious workarounds in the face of infrastructure challenges.
Now, Asia, with its massive populations and significant investments in technology, leads the world in online education adoption. It showcases incredible scalability and innovation. What makes the region such a leader in this space?
India's Swayam platform powerfully exemplifies this leadership. It offers over 2,000 free courses to its citizens and is projected to reach an astonishing 25 million learners by 2025. This truly showcases online education's incredible potential for scale and broad accessibility within a vast and diverse population. It's an unprecedented governmental commitment to leveraging online learning.
The advantages there are undeniable. Strong government backing and strategic investment ensure not only affordability, but also allow for truly massive scalability, making quality educational resources accessible to millions who might otherwise miss out. It's a top-down approach that really prioritizes reach.
True. Yet, quality can still vary significantly across the vast array of offerings, and the rural digital divide remains a persistent challenge in large, diverse countries like India. However, national initiatives like Digital India are actively working to expand broadband access and digital infrastructure to overcome these hurdles and ensure wider, more equitable participation. It's a huge, ongoing undertaking, but the commitment seems to be there.
Okay, moving to Latin America. This region is specifically leveraging online education to directly address high unemployment rates and critical skill gaps prevalent in its workforce, really trying to align education with pressing economic needs. How are they approaching this challenge?
Platzi, a prominent Latin American online platform, stands as a great testament to this approach. It offers specialized tech courses, coding, digital marketing, design, and has already successfully trained over 3 million learners across the region. This directly aligns education with specific industry needs, providing practical, job-ready skills that demonstrably lead to employment or career advancement for many. It's a very pragmatic, result-oriented approach to education.
The obvious advantage here is that industry-aligned curriculum, which is specifically designed to directly boost employability for many individuals seeking new opportunities or career advancement in the tech sector. It's clearly about getting people into better jobs.
Precisely. But language barriers, especially with global platforms and the costs of some specialized courses, can indeed limit access for certain segments of the population. However, solutions are emerging, with more subsidized courses becoming available and culturally relevant, multilingual content becoming increasingly common to enhance broad reach and inclusivity. They're making a conscious effort to overcome those specific barriers.
And what about K-12 education globally? The pandemic put K-12 online education squarely in the spotlight, revealing both its profound potential for continuity and its significant, often challenging limitations. What were some of the key lessons learned from that massive, unplanned experiment?
Well, take U.S. schools using platforms like Google Classroom, for example. They managed to maintain crucial learning continuity for millions of students during widespread school closures. That was an enormous achievement under incredibly difficult circumstances. Rapid deployment and broad accessibility were certainly clear advantages of these platforms. They essentially kept learning happening when everything else physically stopped.
Right, but that speed came with significant downsides, didn't it? Notably documented learning loss in many areas and the unfortunate exacerbation of existing educational inequities. Data from that period starkly showed that a substantial percentage of students, maybe 15% in the U.S., lacked essential devices like laptops or reliable internet needed for online learning. This highlighted a significant access gap and really exposed the underlying inequalities in our systems.
That's right. Going forward, effective solutions really need to include things like broad device distribution programs to ensure all students have the necessary tools, and also extensive teacher training initiatives aimed at equipping educators with the pedagogical skills needed for effective digital instruction. It's not enough to just give them the tech. They need to know how to use it well. This is about making sure that the technology truly serves all students equitably rather than inadvertently leaving some further behind.
Okay, let's consider the perspectives of the different stakeholders involved. How do the primary beneficiaries, the students themselves, perceive online education after experiencing it firsthand? What's their general take on it?
Student feedback is quite illuminating and definitely reveals a nuanced perspective. Research, like a recent Chronicle of Higher Education survey, found that while a significant majority, maybe 70% of online students, highly appreciate the unparalleled flexibility it offers, a notable portion, around 50%, also reported missing the vital peer interaction and that sense of community you get on campus. And a clear trade-off between convenience and social connection, and students really feel that tension acutely.
Right. So for learners navigating this environment, proactive strategies are key. Things like utilizing time management tools. Notion was mentioned to stay organized and actively participating in virtual study groups and discussion forums. These are key to improving engagement and combating those potential feelings of isolation. It's about taking ownership of the social aspect, too, not just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what about the educators? This fundamental shift to online learning has undoubtedly placed new, often intense, and frequently overwhelming demands on them. They were suddenly asked to completely relearn how to teach in many cases.
Indeed. Educators faced considerable challenges, particularly in adapting swiftly to new digital tools and constantly monitoring student engagement in a remote environment, which, as you said, can be far more difficult than in a physical classroom where you can see faces. A study by EdSurge found that a high percentage, maybe 60%, of educators reported experiencing burnout specifically in online settings. That highlights the immense pressure they've been under. It's like asking a stage actor to suddenly perform brilliantly for a camera with no live audience feedback.
It's a perfect analogy. The solutions here clearly point towards robust professional development focused specifically on digital pedagogy, helping educators master the art and science of teaching effectively online. Additionally, integrating AI support for more routine tasks like grading initial drafts or providing basic feedback can significantly alleviate some of their heavy workload. This allows them to focus their time and energy on more impactful teaching and meaningful interaction with students. It's about leveraging technology to support, not replace, the human element of teaching.
And employers, how are they viewing online credentials and the skills acquired through virtual learning these days? Are they seen as equally valuable as traditional degrees? Is that perception shifting?
Employer perceptions are consistently evolving and showing a generally positive trend, especially in certain high-demand sectors. A recent LinkedIn report noted that an encouraging 80% of tech employers now value online certifications, explicitly recognizing their practical relevance and immediate applicability to the workforce. They see the skills. However, it's worth noting that more traditional sectors, such as perhaps law or finance, can sometimes remain skeptical. They often still prefer candidates with conventional degrees from established brick-and-mortar institutions. There's still some lingering doubt or preference there in certain areas.
So the solution, or at least part of it, lies in continued, robust partnerships between online education platforms and leading industry organizations or companies. Collaborations, like those Coursera often engages in, help ensure that online curricula remain highly relevant and directly aligned with current workforce needs. This, in turn, boosts the credibility and acceptance of online credentials across the board. It's about demonstrating real-world applicable value.
Finally, policymakers. They have a crucial and incredibly complex role in shaping the future trajectory of online education. What are their main priorities as they navigate this evolving landscape, trying to balance innovation with access and quality?
Their focus seems to be squarely on ensuring both equity and consistent quality across all online offerings. That's a tough balancing act. Initiatives like the EU's Digital Education Action Plan, running 2021-2027, which commits substantial investment, I think around $1 billion for digital infrastructure and skills, exemplify a strong commitment to widespread access and bridging that digital divide. They understand that without the infrastructure, online education is just a dream for many.
Absolutely. But the challenge for them is balancing that rapid technological innovation with robust and necessary regulation. This is vital to prevent predatory online institutions from cropping up and offering low-value or even fraudulent credentials that can harm students financially and undermine the entire sector's reputation. It's a delicate balance between fostering growth and ensuring integrity and student protection.
Okay, let's look at how different academic disciplines adapt. It's fascinating to see how they leverage online tools or struggle with the limitations. How does STEM education translate to the online environment, especially fields requiring labs?
Online STEM education heavily leverages sophisticated simulations and virtual labs to replicate practical experiences, often quite effectively. For instance, platforms like Labster offer virtual labs that allow biology or chemistry students to conduct complex, often costly or even hazardous, experiments entirely online. This provides scalable access to equipment and scenarios that would be simply impossible or prohibitively expensive to provide to every student in a physical setting. It's a huge breakthrough for accessibility in science education.
The advantages there are crystal clear. Students gain access to complex tools and can run experiments repeatedly without physical limitations or safety concerns. That's great. But the downside, as you might expect, is often a limited tactile experience compared to actually performing experiments in a physical lab, holding the equipment, mixing the chemicals. That hands-on feel can be crucial for developing certain intuitive scientific skills. You just can't feel the texture or the weight of the beaker in your hand online.
Right. What about the humanities, a field so often rooted in deep discussion, nuanced interpretation, and close reading of texts? How do those courses fare online?
Humanities courses can benefit immensely from the rich multimedia content and the ability to incorporate diverse global perspectives that online platforms offer so readily. For example, some history courses creatively use immersive virtual tours of historical sites, offering rich interactive content that brings ancient worlds and significant locations directly to the learner's screen. Imagine walking through a virtual reconstruction of the Roman Forum, guided by an expert historian.
That sounds incredible for engagement. The drawback, however, can sometimes be a potential for limited discussion depth, especially in purely asynchronous formats. Those real-time, nuanced debates and the spontaneous exchange of complex ideas, which are really a core part of humanities learning, can be difficult to fully replicate online. You might miss some of those crucial aha moments that spark in a lively in-person class discussion.
Exactly. It's a different kind of engagement, perhaps less spontaneous. Now, professional fields like business and IT, they seem to thrive particularly well in the online setting, often aligning perfectly with the needs of working professionals. Why do you think that is?
They absolutely do seem well suited. Online MBA programs from reputable business schools, for example, expertly integrate virtual networking opportunities and case study analyses. They offer unparalleled flexibility for working professionals seeking career advancement without having to quit their jobs or relocate. This allows for continuous professional development that fits neatly into a busy work-life schedule.
True. However, the hands-on leadership training, the dynamic team-building exercises, and maybe the nuanced in-person negotiation skills, often integral to fields like business management, well, those can sometimes be limited or difficult to fully replicate in a purely virtual setting. Those crucial softer skills are often harder to practice effectively remotely.
And what about arts education? With its emphasis on creativity, performance, studio work, and critique, it often presents unique challenges in the online space that differ significantly from more traditional academic subjects. How do you teach something so inherently experiential virtually?
Indeed, it's a challenge. Though platforms like Berkeley Online offer impressive music production courses, for instance, complete with virtual studios. They provide students with access to professional-grade tools and software that might otherwise be prohibitively expensive or geographically inaccessible. That's a huge leap in access for aspiring artists and producers.
It really is. But the critical element often missed, or at least harder to capture, is that nuanced, spontaneous, and immediate in-person critique from instructors and peers. And also that collaborative, creative process, jamming with a band, working together on a sculpture that truly defines much of arts education and fosters innovation. It's hard to truly replicate the energy of a shared studio space online.
Okay, moving towards the broader picture. Beyond the practical pros and cons, online education also raises significant ethical and societal implications that we really need to consider carefully. Let's start with privacy and data security, which is a huge concern for many online users today, not just in education.
Yes, this is a serious and growing concern. Online platforms, particularly learning management systems, collect vast amounts of student data, everything from performance metrics and quiz scores to detailed engagement patterns, click streams, participation rates. That's a lot of data. This sheer volume of sensitive data inevitably raises significant risks of data breaches or misuse. There have been incidents, unfortunately, where millions of student records on major educational platforms were exposed, highlighting the vulnerability.
So the solutions are crucial and urgent. Implementing robust, transparent data privacy policies like being GDPR compliant and utilizing heavily encrypted platforms and secure data storage practices. These are vital steps. They're needed to mitigate these risks and ensure the utmost protection of student privacy and sensitive personal and academic information. It's about building a digital fortress around student data and being trustworthy stewards of it.
Online education also has the potential, perhaps unintentionally sometimes, to perpetuate existing cultural and linguistic imbalances or biases. How does that manifest, and what are the implications for a truly global learning environment?
That's an important point to consider, especially as online learning becomes more globalized. Course content can often implicitly prioritize, say, Western perspectives or examples, potentially overlooking or marginalizing non-English speakers or learners from non-Western cultural backgrounds. They might not resonate with the examples or context provided. This can, unfortunately, create a less inclusive and less globally relevant learning environment from many students around the world.
Right. To counteract this, the focus needs to be intentionally on developing comprehensive multilingual courses where possible and meticulously crafting culturally inclusive curricula. This means actively soliciting diverse perspectives during content creation, using globally relevant examples, and addressing these potential imbalances head-on. It's about making sure everyone sees themselves and their context represented appropriately in the learning material.
And despite its powerful promise of widespread accessibility, that persistent digital divide remains a significant threat to truly equitable education in the online space. It risks creating a two-tiered system where some benefit hugely and others are left behind.
It's a harsh and unavoidable reality right now. Low-income learners in developing regions, they still face immense barriers to entry and effective participation in online education. Data clearly shows that a disheartening percentage of global students, maybe 25% according to UNESCO, still lack access to essential digital devices like laptops or tablets, or crucially reliable internet connections.
Yeah.
This clearly perpetuates and entrenches existing educational disparities, making the promise of universal access feel frustratingly out of reach for many.
Solutions here involve concerted and collaborative efforts from governments, NGOs, and the private sector. Things like widespread subsidized device distribution programs to ensure fundamental access to hardware, and the active development and deployment of offline access options for course materials, as successfully implemented in initiatives like India's SWAYAM platform. It's about finding practical, sometimes low-tech ways to bridge that critical digital gap.
Finally, let's consider how online education might fundamentally reshape education's broader societal role, particularly in fostering civic engagement and community building, which are traditionally strong aspects of in-person schooling environments.
This raises an important and profound question about the future of civic society, doesn't it? Virtual learning, just by its nature learning alone at a screen, may inadvertently reduce the organic, spontaneous community building opportunities that traditional physical campuses so readily provide. Opportunities that are absolutely crucial for developing democratic participation skills, a sense of shared citizenship, and the ability to collaborate effectively with diverse people in real-world contexts. It's not just about learning facts, but learning how to function together in a society.
Precisely. So the challenge for educators and platform designers is to intentionally foster that vital engagement. Maybe through structured virtual civic projects, dynamic global forums that connect learners across borders, or online debate clubs. It's about ensuring that online education doesn't just impart knowledge, but also actively nurtures a strong sense of community, shared responsibility, and active participation in the broader societal fabric. It's about deliberately building those virtual town squares and common spaces.
Okay, so given all these powerful pros and significant cons of online education that we've discussed, how do we best move forward? How do we harness the good while mitigating the bad to create the most effective future for learning? The answer increasingly seems to lie in hybrid or blended models.
Exactly. Hybrid learning effectively tries to combine the unparalleled flexibility and reach of online education with the crucial social and practical benefits of in-person engagement. The flipped classroom model is an excellent example of this. Students study core lecture material or readings online at their own pace, freeing up valuable in-person class time for collaborative problem solving, deeper discussions, hands-on activities, or project work. This approach is proving particularly effective in fields like STEM education, where theory really needs to meet practice.
And many institutions are rapidly adopting these blended programs across the board. Universities, for example, now commonly offer core online courses flexibility combined with optional or sometimes required in-person residencies or workshops. This provides students with that desired flexibility for much of their study, alongside vital face-to-face interaction and community building opportunities when they're most needed. It's really about giving students choices and optimizing the learning experience by using the best tool for each part of the job.
Addressing the ongoing challenges within online education, equity, quality, engagement undoubtedly requires a concerted, collaborative effort. It needs policymakers, dedicated educators, and visionary tech innovators all working in tandem. No single group can solve these complex issues alone.
Infrastructure development is absolutely paramount, as we've said. Initiatives like Starlink or government broadband programs expanding internet access globally are vital to bridging the digital divide and ensuring everyone can connect if they want to. And maintaining rigorous quality assurance through robust accreditation standards and transparent review processes is crucial for building and maintaining trust, ensuring the lasting value of online credentials. It's about building a solid, trustworthy foundation.
Crucially, supporting student well-being needs to be prioritized as a core component of any online education strategy, not just an afterthought. This means offering readily accessible virtual counseling services, mental health resources, and facilitating dynamic online peer support groups to actively combat feelings of isolation and address the mental health concerns that could arise or be exacerbated in remote learning environments. It's about nurturing the whole student, their mind, and their well-being, not just their grades.
Finally, for you, our dedicated listener and potential learner, there are proactive strategies you can adopt to optimize your own online learning experience and make it as rewarding and successful as possible. What are some of those key takeaways for the individual?
Effective time management is absolutely key to success in online learning, maybe more so than in traditional settings. Utilizing organizational tools, whether it's Notion, a simple calendar, or task lists, can significantly improve your discipline and help you stay organized and on track with assignments and deadlines. You have to be your own manager. And remember, active participation. Engaging in online forums, joining virtual study groups, contributing meaningfully to group projects is crucial not only for building a sense of community, but also for deepening your understanding of the material through interaction, debate, and collaboration. Don't just passively consume the content.
And don't shy away from developing strong tech skills, or at least basic comfort. Basic digital literacy training, knowing how to use the LMS, communication tools, maybe basic troubleshooting. This can genuinely reduce many of the common technological barriers you might encounter. It makes your online learning journey smoother, more efficient, and ultimately far more rewarding. Embrace the tech. Don't fight it.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear online education has undeniably revolutionized learning. It's brought unprecedented accessibility, remarkable flexibility, and truly exciting innovation to millions upon millions worldwide. It's truly a force of change in our world.
Its pros, from that incredible global reach and increased affordability to deep personalization enabled by AI, are truly empowering and are fundamentally reshaping who can learn, what they can learn, and how they learn it. But as we've thoroughly discussed, the cons, like the persistent risk of social isolation, those lingering technological barriers and equity gaps, and valid concerns about consistent quality and academic integrity, certainly demand our ongoing attention and thoughtful, evolving solutions to improve the experience for everyone involved.
By strategically leveraging hybrid models that aim to capture the best of both online and in-person worlds, continuing to advance the underlying technologies with strong ethical considerations at the forefront, and always prioritizing equity and holistic student well-being. All stakeholders, educators, institutions, policymakers, learners themselves can truly maximize online education's immense and still unfolding transformative potential.
So as online education continues its fascinating evolution, integrating ever more sophisticated AI, potentially more immersive virtual reality, and fostering even greater global collaboration across borders, it promises to redefine not just what education can be, but perhaps its very essence in society. This raises a fascinating question for you, our listener, to consider. How might online education fundamentally reshape not just what we learn, but how we connect with each other, how we create new knowledge, and how we contribute as a truly global society in the decades to come? Something to think about.
We really hope this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights into the complex world of online education. If you found this discussion informative and engaging, please remember to like this video, share it with others who might be interested, and subscribe to the Learn English Lab YouTube channel for more deep dives into topics that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.